Hey, welcome back. I'm Todd Duvall here in Charlotte. I'm going to go over the September real estate market update. That sounds boring, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to throw real numbers at you. And what we're going to cover are new listings, homes for sale, pending sales, closed sales, days on market, and sales price for the month of September. Now, some of these numbers are going to change a little bit because some data is still trickling in. But it's the 3rd of October, and the bulk of what we need to know is here already. So I want to go ahead and get this out to you guys. So let's turn to the map right now and look. First, we're going to look at new listings. And if you look here at the chart here, we had 3,175 new listings in September. And, it's down. It's down from our peak in June. With 4,531 new listings in June. And then we had a boatload in July 2021. So this tells you that for this small data point, it's trending just like it did last year. It peaked in June or July, and then it started coming down. Now, the interesting thing is we're down 17, almost 18% of new listings from a year ago. But with the higher interest rates and the high price point, it's pushed some buyers out of the market. How many? I don't know. But obviously, that's gone down quite a bit. And people that are selling are probably, this is my thought, my opinion, they're probably waiting to see if the interest rates will drop down because they've got to buy another house. So that could be it. But I want to show you this real quick. If you go back, and I'm going to go back, I'm just going to go 10 years. We look down here at the video 10 years. We had a peak number of listings almost every year in June or July, 2022. 21, 20, had a double in 20. We had a little bit of a pandemic starting right there, and it got kind of crazy. But then you go back to May of 19, May 18, there's May 17, April 16, April 15, and April 14. So it's trending this year just like it pretty much has every year before. We can go on back, but you can see the trend there. It's down, yeah, but nowhere near where it was. Like, look at September back in 2012. We had 2,525 listings in September 2012 and 3,100 now. We have more houses. So it's still up and it's still doing okay. It's down because seasonality, that's what we do, but we pay attention to it more. And there's a lot of news out there that kind of scares you, but this is kind of what's happening. This is what's happened. All right, let's go to homes for sale. I'm going to jump back over to the 1 year to give you a dial in. So our number of homes for sale has dropped down from from July, the peak. We have 4,794 homes for sale in September. That's how many were listed and for sale in the month of September. That's up 36% from a year ago. And again, you're going to see another trend with the interest rates going up. Buyers have backed out, and we're getting more and more listings on the market. But if you go back and look 5 years, heck, let's look at 10 years. Our peak month is July 2022. And then we go back, our highest in July of 21. And 20 was a little bit different. The peak was in March. That was right before the pandemic. Now, we go before that because the pandemic years are kind of skew things just a little bit. It's kind of weird. But look at the peak here. There's August and May of 19. Our peak in August of 18. 17 was July and 16, July and 15. So what's happened to this point is typical of what's happened every year. It's a little bit of seasonality. And because we're so down so much from last year too, interest rates were dirt cheap a year ago, so people were buying like crazy. Rates have gone up, and it slowed people down. Still really nothing to write home about or be afraid of. Let's look at pending sales. We'll jump over here. We're going to go back to the 1 year. We have 2,600 pending sales. One of those is ours. My wife and I just put a house under contract. So, it's gone down, but the peak of 2022, or I'm just going to say 22, was in May. And if you go back to 21, peak was in August. Close, a few months away, not too bad. But 21 was kind of an anomaly because people realized all you had to do is list a house and people are going to buy it. Just straight up. So let's go back a little further. Let's go back 5 years. So the peak in 21, peak in 20 was June. Our peak in 22 was May. Our peak in 19, May. Our peak in 18, May. And our peak in 17 was actually May and June. Well, really March. I'm sorry. And then it dipped just a little. We're down 23% in pending sales from a year ago. Again, it goes without saying, two things are in play. One, the interest rate was so low last year, people were buying houses left and right. And number two, interest rates are pretty high now, and so it slowed people down a little bit. But that's what's happening. There's nothing new happening this year that hasn't happened in the previous years. Interest rates are higher, and we may be a little bit lower in those numbers, but it's still a cyclical trend. All right, let's go to closed sales. That's a decent number, right? We're going to go back to the 1 year. September had 2875. The most we had this year, closed sales, June. Are you seeing a trend here? June, our summer months are probably the highest transaction months we have. Let's go back to 21, August and June. Now, these 2 months right here was in 21 when the rates were really low and you were starting to get out a little bit more. That could be that little anomaly, but let's do the 5-year trend. So we go back to 20. July was our highest again. 19, May was. 18 was June. And 17 was June. So that goes without saying. And it drops right after that. September, in 17 was down 3,051. We have a fewer closings this year, and again, could be because of the interest rates, probably, but they're lower. But it's still a trend. It still goes up and down, and nothing really new to see here. Now, another telltale sign are going to be days on market. And if you look at how many houses, these are just average. This is the median days on average. This is out of all the houses listed in Charlotte, single family homes. The average they stay on the market, or the median number of days they stay on the market is 9. The reason we use median is there are some houses that could be overpriced and stay on the market for a year, 6 months. And then it could be one that sold, the day it went listed. It could be a bunch. So it skews those numbers a little bit. This is a median number. It's the center number out of all of them. It's the dead center number. It's the best way to tell what the trend is. So we look at this right here. September, we had 9 days. That's still not a lot of days on market. Typically, 30 or 40 days, right? Maybe. Let's look. I'm going to go back 10 years this time. It's going to crunch our numbers up a little bit. So let's go to 21. Our highest days on market, 22 was September so far. 21 was probably February, but 21, keep in mind, again, crazy year. 20 was January, was the most number of days, and that was right before the pandemic hit. Then they had February of 19, January of 18, January of 17, February of 16. You get the point, right? February of 15. So we're down, we're up from where it was a year ago, but that's because the interest rates were so low. You look here, 9 days, that's not a lot. And 78 days in 2014, and we were pretty much out of the market by then, or out of the recession that we had back in 2008. Okay, now the last one, the biggie, which everybody's here for, is sales price. And if you look here, and I'm just doing a year snapshot, and the median price is $410,000. Charlotte homes, that's all price ranges, single family homes in the Charlotte metro area. And that's up 14% from a year ago. So if you bought a house a year ago in September, congratulations, you have 14% equity in a year. just living there. So we peaked out in June of 22. And so if we expand this out a little bit, I'm just going to go 5 years because we'll see a trend. You see the big trend. It's always going up. You have a dip here and there, but it's always trending upwards. So in 22, June was our highest price month. We can go back to 21. Again, that was the pandemic year. Is kind of weird, but let's go to 20. Our highest month in 20 was October, still in the pandemic. But then our peak in 2019 was June. Again, you're seeing a trend with June or July, right? I'm sorry, June. June and July was the highest peak of that year. We go back to 18. May was our peak. Do you see what I'm getting at? Everything is cyclical, and it's all cycling, and it goes down. After it peaks, it goes down. Like in September, it went down. In 2018, 19, it went down. 20, it did not go down. Again, it dipped a little from August, but again, this was because interest rates were crazy low, and we were in a pandemic, and a lot of dynamics were going on there. So we had a lot of boom, if you will. But every year it dips this time of year. Every year, still up 14%, and it's going to keep continuing. I'm going to get another video next week. It's going to show you some evidence that says we're probably not in a bust or a bubble. So that's it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it because those are just the numbers. And I'm sorry it wasn't super exciting. Next time maybe I'll have bells and whistles. I don't know. But what's going on right now in Charlotte up to this point is pretty common from every year prior to this one. The numbers are down year over year just a little because interest rates are much higher. Again, here's my opinion. I think after everything is done, said and done, and interest rates level out, even if they stay at 6-7%, people will get over the sticker shock. Prices may adjust just a tad. Nothing abnormal yet we're seeing in the Charlotte area. So there you have it. Any questions, put them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so the next video that comes out next week will give you more information, and we'll continue to go forward from there. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.